You're listening to The Pete Sheppard Show.
Real time probably didn't look like much, but it was a false start.
Run it again right here. They got a first down with it. Now they get a touchdown. Eagles take advantage of the interception and find the end zone first. Joshua Carty has it blocked again. This time Jordan Davis, the big man, looks for the icing on one big cake. Eagles hang on.
336 pounds of ground round in for the touchdown. What do you think I was going to leave with? Patriots fumbleitis? No. Unbelievable run by the Philadelphia Eagles yesterday. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome to the Pete Sheppard Show here on the Coastal Sports Digital Network. It is Monday. I got so much fun video for you all today. It's going to be unbelievable. Lots of NFL, college football action. We recap it all. Thanks for checking us out across the Coastal Sports Digital Network video platform today. Following me on Twitter, on X, at PShep326. Across YouTube, Rumble, Kick, CSDN Florida. Our awesome 102, SR 1029 The Game app, on the Odyssey app as well. And always call or text the show 727-858-6650, 727-858-6650. Wow, what an incredible weekend of college football and NFL action yesterday. We'll have some Patriot low-light interviews at the end. It is such a fucking shame that the defense played so well yesterday, and we fumbled the ball. The Patriots fumbled the ball with Ramondre Stevenson a couple of times, one at the goal line, and I don't know. We have Mike Vrabel's reaction after that. We'll get to the Patriots. I got Christopher Price at 9 o'clock. We got college football with Jay Flanley. Little recap at 8:05 tonight, and we'll see how he thinks his Detroit Lions can do tonight on the road against the Baltimore Ravens. But oh my God, what an unbelievable weekend of college football and NFL. And I can't say enough about what happened at Coral Gables. That was, without a doubt, one of the best college game day atmospheres I have ever seen in the history of watching that show. That was absolutely unbelievable. We're going to have the highlights of a bunch of things that happened over there at Coral Gables. In case you missed it, whether you're a Canes fan or not, it doesn't matter. It's just some of it is absolutely hysterical. Not to mention the game. And Miami now has moved up to number 2 in the latest AP standings. And we'll get to that as well. But we're going to focus on the NFL. How many blocked field goals we have yesterday? Like 4? I mean, it was unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. But that play from Jordan Davis right through it, 336 pounds of ground round heading to the end zone for a touchdown. And that's why I tease games on our Hard Rock betting app down here and get 10 points, on a 4-way teaser because you needed it. And I know, I think our friend, good handicapper friend, Gabe Morency, along with many others, took a bath after many had the Rams at plus 3.5. And I know many had the Rams on the money line. I thought the Rams were actually going to win the game outright when I gave my picks on Friday. But the Jalen Hurts Philadelphia Eagles had other ideas. They were trailed by what? By 26. It came back 26 unanswered. I mean, absolutely unbelievable. And we say good morning with that to Angel Martinez up in Tampa. And I can only imagine place Tampa Joe's up there and all the Eagles fans, every right to be happy. That was just an amazing comeback. I'm sure you were very depressed at halftime. I mean, down 19-7, not a big deal. But then it was 26-7. I mean, you down 19, and then you scored 26 unanswered, including that block at the end. Absolutely amazing. So good morning, Angel. How are you feeling today?
Good morning, Pete. Feeling pretty good. And yeah, you know what? Come halftime, Debbie and I were in the car, and I said, well, you can't win them all when it comes to the half. But there's always that thought that maybe they can come back in the second quarter. They did a lot last season, and I was hoping maybe that would continue this year. But huge win by the Eagles against the Rams because a lot of folks believe that the Rams are going to be in the NFC Championship game, and it's still early on. Obviously, a lot of things can end up happening, but it was a good win, a good solid win by the Eagles. A.J. Brown finally can say, I got the ball for 109 yards.
Yep.
You know what? Everything ended up working out for him. And
Well, what's the bigger number is that last year in both games when they played the Rams, the Eagles, I mean, Saquon Barkley just took it to them. And one of the games, the NFC Championship game was fairly close. But Barkley just crushed them yesterday. And the really unbelievable thing yesterday, and a credit once again to Jalen Hurts, Barkley only had 46 yards on 18 carries, didn't even have a touchdown. After demolishing that team last year twice in the regular season and in the postseason. But Jalen Hurts, once again, 21 of 32, 226. The man is so clutch. Now, I don't understand the narrative this morning. I don't know. Maybe it's because I feel like I'm more in tune with what's going on than some of these national networks that are on ESPN and NFL Network, believe it or not. For some reason, they go on this narrative that Jalen Hurts is dissed or nobody's talking about him. And I don't know. I talk about him every week. I mean, we know how clutch he is. He won 19 out of 20 games. Mm-hmm. He's a big part of the reason why. The guy doesn't make a whole lot of mistakes. I mean, he's so I don't know where this. They're like, oh, they'll give Davis all the credit. They're like who's they? The ESPN national show about not giving Jalen Hurts credit. I give him credit every week. I don't know who these people are out there that I don't hear this. Is it because they don't talk about him like they do Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen? I mean, I do. So I can't speak for the rest of the country, but he is right up there with no question one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, top 3, in my opinion. So Patrick Mahomes gets more credit because they won 22-9, first time they ever won it. I don't know what this national narrative is, but if you're not paying attention to Jalen Hurts, you're an idiot. The guy's unbelievable. Yeah. Guy is clutch every single time. Absolutely amazing. So anyway, this is my thoughts on that.
No, I like his attitude a lot better this year than it was last year. Not that he had, I guess, I don't know, he didn't have an attitude as much, but this year he's a lot more composed. He's a lot better. I think he thinks a lot more when it comes to answering questions. And it's just the confidence is definitely there. So that was good to see. And, of course, you had Carson Wentz on the other side. I'm pretty sure I'll talk about later on. But, it's
that game was absolutely unbelievable. And if you didn't, 48-10, I'm sure a lot of people didn't watch, by Isaiah Rodgers. Holy cow, one of the great games in NFL history. He had a pick 6. He recovered another fumble and returned it back for another touchdown. And he had another cause fumble later. He forced 3 turnovers, and 2 of them he ran back for touchdowns. We'll get to those highlights in just a little bit. Let me get to my the Patriots yesterday. Just the down 14-0, and I knew they weren't out of it because I knew the defense was playing really well. But you can't. I mean, 5 turnovers, fumbles, 4 fumbles, 2 by Ramondre Stevenson. And, I've had it with him. I've had it the last couple of years. I've had it with him. Mike Vrabel, going to hear from him in a second, feels a little bit differently about it. But I just think the problem is they don't think Travion Henderson can be the every down back. And then Gibson, who I have a lot more faith in as well, not only on special teams, but as a running back. And he had a fumble yesterday, too. May had a fumble, but Drake May played really well yesterday. The Patriots really... They should have won the game at least 28-21, if not 31-21. They left so many points on the board, it was ridiculous. And they were still in it at the very end. And Pop Douglas makes a shitty move on a 4th and 1. They were going in for the tying touchdown despite all the fumbleitis that they had. They still had a chance to get in there. I really thought they were going to get it. I thought it was at least going to overtime. And Pop Douglas made some crazy freaking move. I don't know if he misread where the yard marker was for the first down, but it was not good. Not a good ending yesterday for the Patriots. That's a game that they absolutely could have won very easily if they just take care of the goddamn football. You cannot win in the NFL. Forget 2 turnovers or 3. They had 5. 4 fumbles. I mean, just absolutely ridiculous. All right, after the game, though, Angel, if we could scroll down first, right under the show, here is head coach Mike Vrabel on Ramondre Stevenson who fumbled twice yesterday, including right at the goal line.
Boy.
It's like you sit there and we're so excited about him, and everybody's excited about him. The fans are, and we know what his capabilities are. We got to get him back. We need him. We absolutely need him. You see what he was able to do for us last week, his ability to make some plays, and again, we'll just have to look at the technique. We'll have to look at the ball security. But we're going to need him. And we need his ability, but we also need to take care of the football. So it's a long answer to tell you that I'm not really sure 20 minutes after the game what we're going to do. But we need him because we won. He helped us win the game last week, and it was a different story today. It's like
He cost you the game. He cost you the game. And you talk about technique. Yeah, you'll see the technique, especially on the first fumble, where it looked like he was trying to switch hands with the ball. I mean, it just awful. Absolutely awful. I don't want him seeing. I don't want to see him. I just don't. I'm sorry. I know he had a good game, 2 weeks ago against the Dolphins. Okay, but I've seen enough. I've seen enough. He cost you the game again. Can't fumble twice like that, especially at the goal line. It's ridiculous. At the end of the game, that play I was telling you about, here's Drake May on DeMario Pop Douglas not getting the first down. Drake takes the high road here, blames himself, which is also bullshit. This was on Pop Douglas. So let's hear from Drake. He's right under Vrabel.
Right. And here we go.
I think I wish I would have told those guys, 4th and 1, just try to, catch it and get upfield. I wish I would have told them that in the huddle. Those little things go a long way. But, nothing Pop did wrong. Just he was trying to make a play. I wish I would, expecting some type of blitz look. I think they played some blitz trap deal. But, I think, that's this league. You got the ball with them, tied up, and I costed us, and then we got the ball, going down to tie to send it to overtime, and that's the NFL. So it's it's tough, but it's a great experience.
No, I mean, he doesn't have to say in the huddle. You don't have to say in the huddle on 4th and 1 with 30 seconds left in the game to get upfield. That's ridiculous. See, he's just taking the high road, and it was a wide receiver who screwed that up. Pop Douglas screwed that up. Drake May on 4th and 1. I don't think you need to say, "Hey, we got to get upfield." No shit. I mean, everybody knows that. It was a bad cut by Pop Douglas. Patriots lose. They're now 1-2 on the year, and they get to host Carolina next week, which was one of the surprising scores of the day. Them just blanking Atlanta 30-0. Who saw that coming? Any more than Green Bay losing to Cleveland on a last-second field goal. So, and then the Dallas Cowboys yesterday, they shoot themselves in the foot. They left so many points on the board again, and finally, Caleb Williams, has a very good game. Ben Johnson gets his first win as head coach for Chicago. They beat Dallas by a score of 31-14. Here's one highlight.
To hear the Bears, a little flick to Swift, trying to get a flea flicker. It's way up there. Williams recovers, throws a seed, has a man, and is caught for a touchdown. Luther Burden's first in the league.
Caleb Williams. I'm beating his former head coach, Matt Eberflus, who's the DC now at Dallas.
Have the game that you did going directly against Matt Eberflus as the opposing defensive play caller.
Yeah, I don't think it really necessarily matters who when you're able to have a game as effective as we were able to have on offense. It feels great, to be honest, whether it was Matt or it was any other defensive coordinator, Flo, or anybody else that we've played, or anybody else that we're going to play.
All right. Meanwhile, Dak Prescott pulled at the end of the game.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously, I won every rep. Never happy about getting pulled out, but, you've got to be realistic and professional, understanding that where the game was. I had a chance right there, as I said, to go score in the red zone, and we didn't. And at that point, it was, 3-score game with 2 minutes left. And it's a young season. As hard-headed as I am, and I want to get out there and get every rep, those guys are teeing off in the rush, right? And I want to stay healthy and want to be healthy, and I'm sure that was a big part of that decision there.
All right. I'm gonna play as much audio from here as I can, Angel, because I'm gonna save the video till we get to 7:30, take the break, and come back. I have so much. You guys do not want to miss any of this video that I have. It is absolutely fantastic. A lot of it is college football themed, and so be it. It's just a lot of fun stuff. But I am going to play, in case you missed it yesterday also, which I will play coming up before the break, is the CBS 50-year ago Open. They were the first network to do a pregame show for everybody back in the day. So we'll get to that. Meanwhile, Cleveland and Green Bay in a thriller.
Good snap. Good hold. The kick is on the way. The kick is good. The kick is good. And Andre Schmidt from 55.
How about that? So the mighty Packers, who everybody had in the not me. People do these. Everybody speaks in absolutes after week 2. It's the dumbest thing ever in sports. But the Packers, look what they've done. Oh, they just lost to Cleveland 13-10. They lose that game. Meanwhile, how about Danny Dimes? Are you freaking kidding me? Between him and Jonathan Taylor, who was awesome yesterday. Here's a JT highlight as the Colts continue to win.
To Taylor. Taylor explodes. Makes a man miss to his right. Spin move, a beauty. Inside the 30. High step into the 25. Inside the 10. Into the end zone. Touchdown, Jonathan Taylor, 46 yards.
All right, and that made it 34-13. But before that, here came Daniel Jones.
On second down from the gun. Jones right through the middle to Pittman, and Pittman toward the goal line. Dives in. It's touchdown, Colts.
It's only week 3, but there is no question that Danny Dimes is going to be comeback player of the year. He is at the top of the list, and it's not even close right now. Unbelievable.
Hang on for a second, because last week we had Deputy Sean calling in. Deputy Sean calls in again today. Good morning, Deputy Sean.
Hey, good morning.
What's going on, guys? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
How you doing? I thought your boys had it last night, but
I hate Russell Wilson right now.
Yeah, well,
how much you hate Russell Wilson?
Despising Russell Wilson. I think I'd rather take Daniel Jones back than Russell Wilson play quarterback.
I mean, how sick are you watching Daniel Jones doing what he's doing?
You know what? I'd rather go back and watch Daniel Jones play football for another 2 years before watching Russell Wilson ever pick up a football.
Well, become a Colts fan.
Quarterback I think I've ever seen on a primetime game, and Daniel Jones had some real doozies with the Giants, but that was by far takes the cake.
Well, you can become a Colts fan if you want.
I've never seen such incompetence of quarterback play in my life. This man literally went out and just said Neighbors is down there somewhere. And for next week, we have 4 of the receivers on the team that, could get the ball while Neighbors is being double covered. I think he targeted Wandale Robinson probably one other time, and that one other time he underthrew him, and it led to an interception.
Let it all out.
And I thought Daniel Jones was bad. I defended Jones for 6 years because I figured, it's obviously everybody else but Jones. But no, I don't even know anymore.
There's nothing real in the world anymore. And the first time ever that KC won in New York.
It sucks because 1 minute you got Russell Wilson throwing 450 yards on the Cowboys, and you're thinking, hey, you're getting another defense that's been struggling. We could take advantage of the Chiefs defense, get them on their miscues, and we can, make this a good game. And it started off as a good game, and then Russell Wilson became like the Denver Bronco version of Russell Wilson, not even the Steelers Russell Wilson. He became the Denver Bronco version.
Well, it's going to be interesting, Brian Daboll, this week.
And either bring Jameis Winston in against the Chargers and let Dart sit a little bit longer, or it's time to put Dart into the ring of fire and let him start learning the way he wants to learn.
I would have put Dart in to start the season, but they couldn't do that because they made that deal for Russell Wilson. But Jackson Dart needs to.
Yeah. But, it's time now. At this point, you got to call it time. You're now 0-3 with the most incompetent quarterback play on prime time probably in the past 20 years. It just got off. At what point has John Mara, the owner, decided to step up and say, hey, change the quarterbacks or I'm going to start firing people? Because, finally, Shane Bowen actually adjusted the defense. I was surprised. He actually did what he said he was going to do, and he made that Giants defense look good. They shut down Mahomes. He was having trouble scrambling. We had him on the run constantly.
Yep.
The defense actually looked like the Giants defense that we're supposed to have. Rush just keeping the passer uncomfortable. And then the offense fails to show up. Now everyone wonders why we always boo the New York Giants every time they play. It's because they do this exact same thing they always do. They suck the first game, they do good another game, and then they completely suck the next game. It's just constant up and downs with this team.
Look, I thought Daboll and Shane should have been fired at the end of last season, so I don't know how much longer they're going to go. Jackson Dart needs to start.
I doubt they were going to fire him because they wanted him to get his quarterback. They said, you know what? Obviously, you were giving Daniel Jones as a hand-me-down quarterback from Dave Gettleman because Dave Gettleman just hated us. Apparently, he hated the fans and hated the Giants. But it was kind of, I think one of those situations like, you know what? Let's give you and Joe Shane a chance to get your own guy, and we'll see how he can do, if it's the same results or not. Now, obviously, I can understand not starting him very much week one like Cam Ward because, obviously, like you said, they signed Daniel Jones to that contract. Or not Daniel Jones, Russell Wilson to that contract. And it's, hey, well, you know what? We'll get him the couple games he's going to play. If he does well, keep him in for the majority of the season until we know Jackson Dart's ready. But if you start off 0-3, now you're talking about Daboll is going to need to save his own skin. And it might be either putting in Jameis Winston or putting in Jackson Dart.
It doesn't make any sense putting Winston in. Yeah, you got to put Jackson.
It doesn't, but it can't be. It possibly couldn't be any worse than what Russell Wilson's doing right now. I think I'll take the 30 for 30 because at least if he throws an interception, he throws a touchdown with it. I mean, he's not going 0 touchdowns and 2 picks.
Yeah.
With only 160 yards passing. I mean, the only bright spot in that game was Cam Scatterby, and I love this kid. I feel like he was a steal. They let him fall way too far. I think
I agree. Yeah, but that coach GM are not going to win you crap unless they stick their heads out of their asses. They're not going to get you crap. Yeah, I love Scatterby too. He's better than Gentry right now.
It's painful being a Giants fan. It really is. I mean, I've been doing this for let's see, since 2015, so about 10 years now, and that one good season we had in 2022. So I mean.
Yep. All right, Officer Sean. Thanks for checking in, buddy. Hang in there.
Y'all have a good one now.
All right. Buddy. Take care. I'll give him a little good send-off here. A little Scatterby send-off.
1st and 10 for the 14. Scatterby inside. Scatterby to the goal line. In for the touchdown. Welcome to New York.
I tied the game at 6, but we all know what happened. In the end, it was Kansas City winning 22-9. First time ever they won on the road against the Giants. All right, meanwhile, yesterday, oh my goodness, it was absolutely amazing what happened yesterday as Aaron Rodgers was absolutely a one-man wrecking machine for the Minnesota Vikings.
It's a 2nd and 9. And Browning. Scanning, throwing, picked off, intercepted by Isaiah Rodgers, and he's racing down the sideline, and he will not be caught going the distance.
He was unbelievable. That was not only was the pick six great, but I mean the move to get to the sideline, what he did. He wasn't done though. He was just warming up.
Bengals can make things interesting. Plus they get the 3rd quarter kick. It's Fant. Lost the football. It's Rodgers again, off and running. Oh, my goodness. He runs it back for a 2nd touchdown today.
That made it 24-3, and they're all done. They're all done. The Cincinnati Bengals looked like dog poop yesterday. Absolutely. They could not get out of their own way. And how about this guy, Carson Wentz?
Things tailored for the first team to win. You're the scout team, and right here, you got to throw it like that.
He's got a touchdown pass to Hawkinson.
What a route. Watch this. Widen them, widen them, widen them. Now come back inside. Use their leverage against you. Hawkinson, who's just had to do multiple things, hasn't been out in enough routes. you're seeing his effect when he's out there.
Yeah.
Thanks to CBS right there. Patriots losing to the Pittsburgh Steelers after 5 turnovers, and they were still in the game towards the end. Here's some highlights there from CBS.
Goal now for Pittsburgh. Pitch it. Gainwell will go wide, and he'll cut it inside for the touchdown.
7-0 Pittsburgh. Let's go to the second quarter.
Before he took the head coaching job in Atlanta, Rodgers, timing route to the end zone.
It was a touchdown, and that made it 14-0, but we head to the second quarter. The Patriots start to make the comeback.
Backfield, Steelers press the line. Fake it, toss it, wide open, touchdown, Hunter Henry. The Patriots answer.
14-7 at the time. Pittsburgh, let's head to the fourth quarter.
One earlier made it. This is a 4th and 2. May, over the middle, catch made, Henry, touchdown.
Yep, but Pittsburgh went ahead for good, incredibly, on this play. Here we go.
Rodgers dials it up. End zone, touchdown, Calvin Austin. Steelers take the lead.
And they took the lead. The Patriots marched down the field again, and Pop Douglas couldn't get a first down almost near the red zone for the Steelers, and that was that. 2 horrible fumbles by Ramondre Stevenson, a bad fumble by Gibson, a bad fumble by Drake May. But Drake May overall played very, very well once again, and just absolutely a horrible loss for the Patriots, a horrible loss. Yep. And no team could overcome 5 turnovers. They nearly pulled it off. That would have been a miracle had they done that. And the defense played so well. And every time they were forcing 3 and outs, and every time the Patriots come marching back down the field and turn the ball over. Just horrible. Dylan said, Angel, how did ice hockey go? Overall, pretty well, right, with USF?
It sure did. They won over the weekend, both their Friday night, Saturday night matchup, 198-1, because they were scoring early and often. So they were really, they did really well, Dylan, over the weekend. But they could have had back-to-back shutouts. Rare do I blame a mishap on someone, but the guy running the clock forgot to start it. 30 seconds rolled off into the ice, and FAU ended up scoring with about 5 seconds left in the game, which actually the game would have been over at that point. But nonetheless, USF starting out the season 2-0. FAU first period looked really good. After that, it was like mediocre, and then the bottom fell out for them.
All righty. And then you can hear all their games right here on the Coastal Sports Digital Network. Officer Sean, yes, thank you guys for letting me vent and rant. Yes.
You're welcome.
Maybe your scatterboo walk off there. How about a thrilling game at Ray J yesterday as well? Tampa Bay and the Jets came right down to the wire.
For the win. McLaughlin's kick is right down the middle.
Tampa Bay wins 29-27. Here's Baker Mayfield on the significance of securing the victory.
I know Todd said that it wasn't a big deal for him this week playing his former team, but you know what it's like to go up against teams that you've played for. How big was it for you guys to get the victory for him?
I loved it. And it's also their D coordinator was the one that cut me in Carolina. So it was a lot of stuff that's personal with that. Songwriter, former Jet, a lot of people.
Always direct Baker Mayfield. Another good game, man. Tampa Bay, 4-0. They've been fantastic this year. They win 29-27. Washington over the Raiders, 41-24. How about Marcus Mariota?
Ball team. Mariota hesitates to the end zone. Touchdown, Commanders.
Marcus Mariota. Anyway, he had some really good moments, obviously. He had a couple of clunkers as well, but 41-24, the Washington Commanders over the L.A. Raiders. Carolina blanked Atlanta 30-0.
Handoff. Dowdle. Touchdown.
Oh, 30-0. Michael Penix Jr., not a great game for him. Raheem Morris, after the game, says New Orleans was asked if Kirk Cousins may get a chance to compete this week.
Why the decision to put Kirk in? The game was out of hand. You move on, keep them out of harm's way, keep our guys out of harm's way, take a couple guys out. We had to take some of those wide outs out, we had to get the young back in, get all those things going. The game's out of hand, they got us.
Will you give Kirk a chance to compete for the job this week?
No.
Okay, there we go. Jacksonville and Houston in a barn burner as well.
A secondary bust, and you give Jacksonville their biggest play of the game.
ETN, he's in for the Jacksonville touchdown.
Final 17-10, Jacksonville. How about Houston being winless? Absolutely unbelievable. Chargers and Denver. This one you knew was going to come right down to the wire, and of course it did.
Got it. 23-20. Zeros on the clock. It's over, and the Chargers...
Cameron Dicker with the 43-yard field goal right there, and the Chargers walk off with the 23-20 win. Seattle and New Orleans, boy, this was an absolute debacle for the Saints right out of the gate.
All the way back to his 6-yard line. Horton on the return at the 20, right up the middle to the 30. Now Horton to the outside. Torrey Horton down the sideline, and it's a touchdown. 95 yards!
Seattle went on to blast New Orleans 44-13. San Francisco and Arizona right down to the wire. A couple of interesting plays.
Mac Jones in the end zone. Flag is thrown. Still on his feet. He's got to get out of there. And on one good leg, he's able to get back to the line of scrimmage. But if this is a holding penalty in the end zone, this is a 2-point victory for Arizona on this drive.
I think this is a safety. Look at Budda Baker.
Holding. Offense number 77. Because the foul occurred in the end zone, it is a safety.
It is Dominic Pooney.
It was 15-13. Now, mind you, the Arizona is they're 1.5-point underdogs in this game. So now they're up 15-13 until the very end.
Before and win the game with his leg. Sweeps it, delivers it, and San Francisco is in first place. They win it at the Horn.
Yeah, and thanks to Fox with the call there. Kansas City, we told you, beat the Giants. First time they ever won on the road against the Giants, 22-9. And tonight, Detroit is at Baltimore. Should be a very, very good game. All right, we're going to take a quick break. But before we do that, Angel, as promised, because I have a lot of great video to show you between now and then. In case you missed it, this was I love this, because I was 8 years old when the NFL on CBS first came into play here. And you have to scroll down a little bit, Angel. You'll find it. It's down there. It's on.
By off announcing.
Yes, that's it. So this, in case you missed it, this is the 50th anniversary. I can't believe it. I was 8 years old, and I remember watching it open with my dad, and it was it blew my mind that somebody was doing this. Was before ESPN existed. And there was no network that did pregame shows. You just at 1 o'clock you turn the TV on and there would be your team. And at that time it was CBS and NBC that was televising the games. NBC had the AFC, CBS had the NFC. So here is the open from 50 years ago. And then they did it. They did it in 50 years ago style and with all the current cast and crew, and Brent Musburger, special guest. This is awesome. Check this out in case you missed it yesterday.
You are looking live at U.S. Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. It's a battle of backup quarterbacks. Jake Browning for the Bengals, Carson Wentz for the Vikings. Both teams hoping they can deliver. And now live from Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, where the Patriots chase back-to-back wins for the first time in 3 years, while the Steelers look to rebound after last week's disappointing loss. And live from Everbank Stadium in Jacksonville, where the winless Texans faced a must-win to save their season, and the Jaguars seek to end a 7-year home losing streak against their division rivals. And also live from Nissan Stadium in Nashville, where Indiana Jones and the Colts look to stay perfect against the Titans and rookie passer Cam Ward, who is still searching for his first NFL win.
Stop.
Today is sponsored by Jeep. There's only one. From the CBS Sports Control in New York, here is James Brown.
50 years ago on this very day, September 21st, 1975, CBS changed the way sports will be covered forever with the birth of the NFL Today, the very first live pregame show in TV history. The result? A groundbreaking experience that transformed the hours before kickoff into part of the spectacle for half a century. This show has been there for moments that define the league and the culture all around it. And today, as we honor the legacy of the NFL Today, it is only right that we do it with the man who is synonymous with its history, the very first host of this show. That would be the legendary Brent Musburger, and genuinely meant welcome home.
It was unbelievable. And then he went into an explanation about how you are looking live. I mean, it just, it was fantastic. Great production yesterday. Great job. Great job by CBS.
Yeah.
All right. Let's take a quick break here, Angel. When we come back, a whole lot of video. You do not want to miss it. From Pat McAfee and the scene at Coral Gables over the weekend before the Miami-Florida game, which was unbelievable. We're going to have Heather Denich's take after the game on the Hurricanes, and then the ultimate meltdown by Josh Prey. And you know my man from down here in Southwest Florida. I'm trying to get him on the show. I've reached out to send an email to his agent because he travels all over the country. And when you see this video, and Angel has not seen it yet, you're going to absolutely flip. You know what, Angel, I don't know. Do we have to take a break? I'm thinking maybe we'll take one before Jay comes on, unless you have to go potty. Well, otherwise, let's just keep it here because I got too much good video I want to play. And we will take a break before Jay comes on, but we'll keep it right here. All right. First off, let's scroll down a ways. Actually, before that, I do want to play Pop Douglas. It's on Patriots on CLNS. I forgot to play this earlier. This is Pop Douglas on if he thought it was the first down on the final play. Interesting answer here. Yep.
Right. And here we go.
Fourth down play, is that designed for you to get to the sticks, or is that designed to go before and make a play?
It was a play. It wasn't designed for anything. It was just.
Did you think you were at the first down?
Nah.
Or you didn't know where?
Yeah, I was somewhere by it. I know I was somewhere by it because we only had 2 yards.
So you knew you probably had to make a play. I'm guessing.
Yeah. Facts.
Fourth down plays.
What? WTF? What is that? That's a Mike McDaniel type answer. That was ridiculous. That's a stupid, idiotic answer. Dumb. You screwed up. Stop smiling about it and be a man about it. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. All right. Let's see. All right. First up, the Miami Hurricanes, one of the best defensive efforts I have seen from any team in the country in a long, long time. To hold Florida 0 for 13 on third down is unbelievable. So right under the CBS thing. I want to start with this. This was yesterday afternoon before the polls came out on Heather Dinich and why she has, by the way, Miami is now number 2, but she has them in her rankings as the best team in the country.
Paul Feinbaum, Heather Dinich with us now. And Heather, the Canes continue to roll, not only roll, but dominate their opponents. Where's Miami in your rankings after this latest dub?
They're number one. They have a strong case for the total package. Look, there are certainly things that they can clean up. Carson back through an interception. They had 6 penalties, but the defense had 4 sacks, 7 tackles for loss, and didn't allow Florida a third down conversion. I get it. The Gators are underwhelming, underperforming, and unranked, but this was a tough, gritty rivalry game. That's something that the selection committee members pay attention to, the intangibles of that. And when you combine it with a win against Notre Dame, a win against a really good South Florida team, that gives them a case right now for the top team in the country.
And Heather, I think one reason why that makes so much sense is that watching the game, I thought Miami played fairly pedestrian, and they still simply put away their rival from up in the state. And I think that shows you what they're capable of doing down the road. I realize if you're looking from a tall building, beating Notre Dame doesn't mean as much. And of course, Florida is self-explanatory. But I think they'll get big wins later, and you have to look at what Mario Cristobal has done. And he promised a winner, and he very well has a national championship contender here.
No, there's no question about it. There's no question. That took a lot for Paul Feinbaum to say that, although he did have Mario on earlier this week on his show. But, yeah, the offense was very pedestrian. There's no question about it. And I got to credit Florida's defense a little bit. You see what they've done. Even in the loss to USF, they only gave up 18 points. And they played LSU down to the wire with 5 interceptions, and they gave up 20 points. But their offense, because of the 5 interceptions, really led to a couple of touchdowns by LSU a couple of weeks ago. But this is the difference now. They could not have won a game like this last year. They would have had to score 40 points. But now the defense, which I think is the best in the country, phenomenal. 0 for 13, the Gators on third down. I mean, that's ridiculous. Yes, there's some things they're going to clean up, and they will. And I almost felt like the whole game plan, they never really took a shot down the field during the whole game. The whole game for this week was going to pound it right at Florida. That's exactly what they did. They ran the ball very well. Carson back, it'll be a totally different game plan where they go to Tallahassee next week to take on the Florida State. Not this week, they'll be because they're off this week. But a week from Saturday, they will be in Tallahassee to take on Florida State, assuming that the Seminoles take care of business. I think they were at Virginia this week, and, you never know. It could be no guarantees, but I think they will win that game. And then game day is going to have to go to Tallahassee because that is going to be the biggest game in the state of Florida in a long time. I mean, that one was big the other night. That was big here with game day and all that stuff. But it could be even bigger against Florida State. That's ranked 7th right now, and Miami's ranked 2nd. All right, speaking of game day, you have to see this as we scroll down, Angel, and it's a little ways. They had a couple of. Let's start with it's Cafecito time. We'll start with that one. This was on the set of game day, and it was an absolutely incredible atmosphere, the best I've seen all year on College game day. And it was like that 8 years ago when they played Notre Dame and had an unbelievable crowd. This was even more intense. It was just absolutely nuts. So here's just part of the show. Down the stretch we come. This is the
On that note, I asked you, I asked Cam, I asked President Joey from the Bronx. I said, what do we need to experience? He said, and you told me, need the coffee. So I think it's cafecito time.
Cafecito time.
Oh, cafecito time. Cafecito time. What does this mean? I'm saying coffee time?
This is high-octane rocket fuel right here. I've had this too much for Coach. This might be too much for you as well, but thank you very much.
What is this? This is espresso?
This is, well, you could call it that. Cuban coffee.
You want to give a toast?
They got like a matcha flavor, though. Here's a Mario, as we have a toast. You said you wanted this place, Hard Rock, to be an asylum tonight. What do they need? Can this fuel them up an asylum?
To gratitude for opportunity, to the relentless pursuit for Hurricane Excellent, and making a damn asylum tonight.
I got white pants. Hell yeah, an asylum tonight. Cafecito time. Hurricane football time. Thank you, Coach. We appreciate the hell out of it. Wow. Thank you very much, Mario.
Now, Angel, if you had Cafecito, it's, Cuban Bandisco, very potent.
Yeah.
More potent than a shot of espresso. Have you had it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. If you need a supercharge, you could be just, ready to fall over like, nope, take one of them shots. You'll be springing into action quicker than Viagra.
Can I get that in the store? Can I go to Publix and get that, or I got to go to a specialty store?
Publix might have it. They might have it, but it'd be more of your specialty. Like your bodega stores will probably end up carrying a lot more.
Okay. All right. And if that wasn't enough, at the end, I told my buddy Jeff, who lives across the street from me, it was his birthday over on Saturday. Happy birthday, Jeff. I said at 9:30, I texted him because he's a big Canes fan. He went to Miami. And I said, you watch. McAfee's going to go nuts at the end of this. I said, and I had no insight. I didn't talk to anybody. A couple of friends were texting me from there, but they didn't go to game day. They were just in the parking lot afterwards. And I said, McAfee's going to do something crazy. You watch. You see the 10-meter board, which is 30 feet up in the air. I don't know how, I always say this about going to Pepperdine on Malibu Beach, how you graduate. I don't know how you go to the U and go to class. The freshman dorms it is absolutely an incredibly beautiful campus at Miami. The dorms, the freshman dorms are like, you never want to move out. They overlook the pool, and it's incredible atmosphere. But here's McAfee, in case you missed it at the end. This was absolutely unbelievable. And you haven't seen this yet, Angel?
No, not yet.
Okay, here we go. Here is what happened at the end. I knew it. I could feel it in my bones.
You know what? I think there's only one thing left to do here. I've experienced cafecito time. I've experienced the wonderful culture. I've experienced the beautiful people, and I think we got some Canes over here. We got some Canes over here. We got some Canes over here. This day in Coral Gables is going to be one that I will remember for the rest of my life. Ray Lewis started his dance right here at Miami. Ed Reed started his legendary run here at Miami. The legends of football run deep. The moments are special. The national championships are in abundance. Just last year, a lovely University of Miami woman diver from Italy won a national championship. This thing's been staring at me all damn day.
You're out of your mind, brother. You're crazy.
Kirk, I'm a little winded.
That's what I was going to say. You talked the whole time you were running. I'll give you a chance to catch your breath, you son of a bitch. You're crazy.
I hope somebody got a lifesaver over there.
Is there a lot of that?
My man's out of breath.
It is a long way to the top.
Pat, you gonna jump in and you're somebody. Are you going to jump in there?
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so
I'm tired for you.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Oh, he didn't take the jacket off. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, he's taking the shirt off now.
Okay. All right.
Looking ripped.
Yeah,
looking ripped.
fit.
Oh, he's taking the drawers off.
Ladies and gentlemen.
The pants.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you come to this beautiful campus, you will notice quickly that the students here love this university. They love this atmosphere. And I'm with everybody. I think the U is back. Give me.
He's got the Speedo. Oh, my God.
Give me the.
Canes, baby. Here it goes. Oh, God.
Here it goes. Feet together.
I think that was the lead one so for the pencil.
Harry's got the U. Flashing it out.
Oh, my God.
McAfee with the refreshing plunge. Miami and Florida tonight. Let's have a look at that again. Check out the form, Herbie. Oh, man.
Let's see the toes.
We need just to
Good, pretty good.
Legs together, right?
Perfect. Perfection. Winded and all.
What a lunatic.
Oh, my God. That was an unbelievable atmosphere. Of course, Miami goes on to win and beat up on Florida. And, the game seemed a little bit close. They also took a touchdown away from Miami that the refs, an SEC ref, by the way, took it away from them. That should have been another touchdown for Miami. But anyway, they win the game. They win the game over the Florida Gators. All right, let's see. Let's get some more stuff in here. All right, let's scroll up. Scroll down. Scrolling up. I'm sorry. Scroll back up. Then I'm going to have you scroll back down. But let's scroll back up to Josh Pate. Now, he does college football show and was on after the Gators 26-7 loss. I believe he does stuff for the Florida Gators. So here is his assessment. And he always has the Sarah McLachlan. You know Sarah McLachlan?
Yeah.
That's usually about dogs and everything else. But this is Sarah McLachlan themed once again, and the Gators are the subject of it.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, that's not Josh Prey. Not that one. No.
Hang on.
No, not yet.
Hang on.
No. I see it's Josh Pate, not Josh Prey. Josh Pate. So it's right under the Carlos A. Lopez one. Josh Pate, this week's Sarah McLachlan special.
Oh, there it is. Okay, Here we go. Almost gave the other one away too quick. All right, here we go.
Listen to the
Miami had 184 yards rushing, and Florida had 141 yards total. Florida, believe it or not a typo, kids, was 0 of 13 on third down. I have here, for the second week in a row, Florida's drive chart. 3 and out, punt, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, touchdown, turnover on downs, 3 and out, turnover on downs, turnover on downs. Florida had 32 yards in the first half. We counted every one of them. This is their worst start since 1986. Officials at one point took a Miami touchdown off the board, basically because they blew what I can only describe as a sympathy whistle, where there was a mauling happening and there's a pile still moving forward, and some official, just out of the kindness of their heart, blows the whistle. Like, at the end of the day, these are someone's kids. These kids in the Florida uniform, like, that's someone's kid. I got to stop this. Well, no, it'll stop when he crosses the goal line. So anyway, if you think it was bad last night, it was. Florida only has Texas and Texas A&M and Georgia and Ole Miss and Tennessee and Florida State left, which, if you've got your trusty AP poll handy, means the numbers 10, 9, 5, 13, 15, and 8 teams in the country. For the second week in a row, an unprecedented first, redundant, on this show, Florida again, your Sarah McLachlan special.
I like how they have the dogs in the background to his right.
All right, and now we get to my man Josh Prey, the comedian from down here in Southwest Florida, Immokalee area, Naples, and the man who tours. And this is, you played, you know him. I'm trying desperately. I reached out to his agent to try to get him on the show because he is just absolutely epic. And we played some unbelievable meltdowns last year and part of this year already. This has got to be, I won't say by far and away, but this is my favorite one so far. This one, he might, I thought he was going to end up in a padded room, but he ended up at church instead. Here we go.
All right.
I don't want to look like a winner. I don't want to sound like enthusiastic. I'm defeated. Miami has knocked the fight out the dog. There's no more in me. There's no more voice. There's no more championship aspiration. The University of Miami football team has taken it all out of me. Right now, I'm standing in front of a church. A lot of people thought I was going to be in front of a dentist trying to be funny. No, I'm in front of a church. I don't even know who church this is, but clearly I need the Lord. This is somebody's church. I went to the University of Miami Hard Rock Stadium last night. It's like going to a nightclub. If you've never been to the University of Hard Rock Stadium, it's definitely like going to, they don't give you a time to breathe. They don't give you a time to sit down. They don't give you a time to settle in. It's more lights than sun in the sky. I've never seen this much light. Every time they do a whistle, every time they do a touchdown, every time they do a tackle, the stadium lose their mind and all the lights come on. Like, it's neon lights, it's electro lights, it's Miller Light, it's Bud Light, it's Coke Zero, everything. And there's a light show. They mascot Sebastian. Every time they do something crazy, Sebastian does the YMCA, and it looks so cool. It looks electric. He's doing the Macarena while trying to tie his shoe in the cane. C-A-N-E-S. Go, go. I was in the suite. Boy, I need you. I'm coming to you. I need you. Nobody else can help me in my pain right now but you. That's why y'all got me in front of a church, man. I need you. I was walking through their parking lot, and Miami has the most diverse fan base. They got Italians, they got Cubans, they got Haitians, they got Mexicans, they got Black Americans, they got Caucasians. Somebody was making salsa, somebody was dancing to the salsa, and I seen a black dude putting salsa on some ribs. I wanted some, but I wasn't. Nothing. We don't deserve this. As a Gator fan, we do not. This jersey is hundreds of dollars. This hat is $40, $50. We don't deserve this, man. Everybody else having fun. Everybody else high-fiving. We had 32 yards of offense in the first half. We had 32 yards. I was still renting apartments at 32. We had 32 yards. I ain't gonna yell in the church's parking lot. The University of Miami has sent me to church. Football has nothing to do with the Lord. They have sent me to church. I have to go to the Lord on them now. Sick to my stomach. If I wanted to vomit, I couldn't even vomit because I am sick to my stomach. This is one of the best. The universe. We don't deserve this. I wasn't a bad person, Lord. I apologize. I skipped a couple Sundays. I apologize. I don't even have a voice. I'm gonna need one of them things to talk like this by the time next year, because I'm just all cried out. I'm sick. I am sick. All I keep hearing is BTA. I can't say that. All I keep seeing is lights flashing. The stadium looked like that man's eyes. He looked like that man's eyes from Star Trek. All I keep seeing is the dang light coming. I felt like I was in a ship from Star Wars, man. The U is back. We need a U-Haul for Billy Napier.
Excuse me.
You all for Billy Napier. That's it all.
I can't stand it. Good morning, Trevor. What up? Steve? Sad Florida Gator is my favorite. That was just unbelievable. Oh my God, I'm dying. I'm crying. Happy. It's just absolutely hysterical. All right, let's take a quick break. Then Jay Blanley's going to join us. I need to go get some more Gatorade. Phil Castaneda, Sports World in Saugus, Mass. is New England's place to buy or sell the finest in sports memorabilia. For over 35 years, Sports World has offered the finest in sports collectibles. So get on down there to Phil Castaneda, Sports World at 184 Broadway in Saugus. Call 781-233-7222 for more information. Sports World in Saugus. Be there. Jay Blanley, Beeves World, will join us. He'll be gloating about his Michigan narrow victory, but nevertheless winning and covering this week as well. We'll get to his take on that. More college football stuff. Chris Price covers the Patriots for the Boston Globe. Join me at 9 o'clock, all part of the Pete Sheppard Show here on the Maniac Monday on the Coastal Sports Digital Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Hey everybody, it's Pete Sheppard from the Coastal Sports Network. Want to tell you about my good friend Lou DiMuzio and his company. Lou is the president and founder of Ace Technology Advisors. They're big-time tech specialists. At ATA, they're able to craft, implement, and manage the best and most appropriate solution for your business. They leverage their industry-leading experience and their portfolio of technology partners to improve your best practices and infrastructure. So you can get a hold of them at 888-599-4223. That's 888-599-4223. Check them out on their webpage, www.acetechadvisors.com. That's www.acetechadvisors.com. Or you can email them, sales@acetechadvisors.com. Check out my friend Lou DiMuzio and Ace Technology Advisors.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
Interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Whoa! Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Woohoo! Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie. So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Don't spaz out because your team lost. Let Pete do it for you. Now, back to the Pete Sheppard Show.
What are you going to do tonight to celebrate?
I'm going to eat some Haagen-Dazs coffee ice cream with my wife and smoke a Cuban cigar and then probably go to the hospital.
Bill Poggi, temporary head coach of the Michigan Wolverines. That is one of the great lines of the year. Gotta love it. Some coffee, ice cream, and a big old cigar. Oh, cigar. Remember that from Oh, my goodness. Welcome back here to the Pete Sheppard Show. It's hour number 2 here on this Football Monday, recapping everything, all things in the NFL and college football. Jay Flanley going to join us any second now. And that was an outstanding call. Played again as soon as Jay comes on. But thanks for checking us out here across the Coastal Sport Network digital network, across the video platform. Follow me at pshep326 on Twitter, across all the Facebook pages, YouTube, Rumble, Kick, LinkedIn, CSDN Florida, and the Odyssey app, and also our awesome SR1029 The Game app as well. Call or text the show 727-858-6650, 727-858-6650. We'll get to Jay's thoughts on his Michigan Wolverines. Hard fought, 30-27 win. Though I never thought that the game was in doubt. I just felt like they were going to, find a way to win, and they did. They had a 10-0 lead in the first quarter. It looked like they were going to blow them out. But tough place to play in Lincoln, and Nebraska cannot beat anybody ever that's ranked anyway. So you knew that more than likely they were going to lose the game. And Michigan was one of my best bets of the week, and they got it done. All right. Meanwhile, we welcome in Jay Flanley this morning. Good morning, Jay. How are you doing up in Ann Arbor? And before this is one of the great answers of the decade from any coach.
What are you going to do tonight to celebrate?
I'm going to eat some Haagen-Dazs coffee ice cream with my wife and smoke a Cuban cigar and then probably go to the hospital.
Now, coffee ice cream is huge in the New England area, as you know, Jay. I didn't know it was big up in well, they were in Lincoln, but I mean, I didn't know coffee ice cream was a thing in the Midwest, because usually you say coffee ice cream to some people outside of the Northeast, and they don't, what? Coffee ice cream. But yeah, good for him. Good win for your Wolverines. They're one of my best bets of the week, and they got it done. They got it done. But how you doing?
I'm good. So if you didn't know this, Biff is from like the Maryland area. He's like the mid-Atlantic.
Yeah.
So his son Henry was a fullback tight end. He played on the Patriots for 5 minutes.
Yes.
He was on the teams that transitioned in with Brady Hoke to Coach Harbaugh. His son was on those teams. So they're early with like Wilton Spate and John O'Corn, Jake Rudock. We had a hodgepodge of quarterbacks, and he was a hybrid fullback tight end. Henry is Biff is very successful in the trading industry. That was what he used to do, and he was a high school coach. And Harbaugh recruited him. If you didn't see his exchange with Nick Saban on the pregame shows, it's pretty funny on the weekend. Yeah.
I
so it's nice to see somebody put Saint Nick in his little place. Saint Nick just won a bunch of national championships in Alabama. He never paid anybody or broke any rules. They were clean as a 3-year-old baby's behind. So yeah, of course.
Well, I actually think Nick has done a lot better on game day than I thought he would.
I think he's awesome. Yes, I think he's great on it. Both he and Urban Meyer are great. Urban actually is probably a little better than him as far as the film breakdown and stuff, but Saban is great on TV. He's very good.
Yep. I just like, to me, the game day thing, I don't know. I can't get into the Fox thing. I can't
watch either of them anymore.
I like it. I love that Portnoy's on it from Barstool now and all that stuff. But I just like, especially now with McAfee there, I love when McAfee is, I love what he does. That scene at Coral Gables on Saturday was unlike anything else. It was by far the best game day I have seen in like 20 years. The last time they were there when they played Notre Dame, they said it was the most crowded they've ever seen it in wacko. But that just, drinking the hybrid espresso during the set, and then McAfee at the end. I called it. I said at 9:30. I was telling all my friends. I said, this guy's going to watch. He's going to go up to that 30-foot diving board and jump off, and he did. It was great stuff. It was great stuff. And now they're up to number 2. And there's no doubt in my mind that my Hurricane, they have the best defense in the country. There is no question about it. It's not even close. They have the best defense in the country. Right now, it's still a long ways to go. But your Wolverines Saturday, dominating in the trenches, offensively anyway, rushing for what they did, 286 yards on the ground, most against Nebraska since Oklahoma back in 2022. So that's why Underwood doesn't need, the numbers weren't flashy if you look at the passing stats, but who cares about that? The overall, I'm pretty impressed with him, Jay, I got to tell you. I wasn't sure because I don't like to jump to conclusions about people, especially young quarterbacks. But he's the real deal, and he needed to throw the ball. And at the end of that game, he was fantastic, and that scramble he had as well was great. So good, nice win by Michigan in a hostile environment. I know you wanted them to win by more, but they did win and they did cover.
Well, they should have won by more. They forgot how to defend a Hail Mary pass. We've never done that before at Michigan. I'm having flashbacks to my time here, '94. I thought they played really well. One of the things that if you went into the game, you would have given them a big advantage at quarterback because Viola has played and played in a lot of games. And I thought Bryce and his guys did a good job. Again, tough road environment. I don't know if we know how good Nebraska's defense is. They lost a lot of guys to the NFL in graduation last year, particularly their D-line. That's kind of why we gashed them and pushed them around. I haven't really talked to any of the guys since they got back. They got back late, and I stayed up till about 3 a.m. watching the Sparties lose, and that was a tough emotional experience for me.
I stayed up late too. I bet the over in that game was over 54, whatever. It sailed over the total.
Every time the Sparties lose, it's a fucking holiday in my house. They can't lose enough. It's like, thank you, sir. May I have another? I would have stayed up another 24 hours till 3 a.m. to watch them lose. It's hard to evaluate their team because they're going to score points because the quarterback might be the best quarterback in the Big Ten. And they're going to score points, but they can't tackle.
They might, but not when your defense holds them 43 yards on the ground. You're not going to win many games.
No. Well, and the thing with them is they had to totally rebuild their team. They did it the right way. They went and invested a lot in the O-line for the portal because their O-line was bad last year and they got Childs killed. And, the receiver's a stud. He might look good here next year. Wink, wink. And things like that. So I thought they played well. They looked pretty good. Obviously, your team's good. Anybody who remembers my preseason national championship pick, that would be the Clemson Tigers. So that's holding up really well. They might not even make a bowl game the way they're going.
I don't know what's. That was embarrassing. Syracuse. I watched that whole game. Syracuse just took it wrong from the get-go, from the absolute get-go.
Fran Brown's the real deal. You and I have talked about this. Fran Brown is the real deal. And Clemson,
those prints he had them do after the game, which was kind of childish, but I mean, they didn't give up on him, and they took it to Clemson right out of the gate. I mean,
they clearly respect and play for their coach, unlike the Clemson players. I mean, they need to move off Dabo. I mean, it's plain as day. You don't. If I need to tell you that, you're not watching the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, he did the no portal. Now he's doing the portal, and they stink. And the quarterback outside of Arch Manning and a couple other guys is the most overrated. I mean, he's not good. You have gone through like 3 quarterbacks in his time at Miami, and they're all better than him. And he's just not it. I mean, some guys it sometimes just doesn't work. You're supposed to be really good. Michigan went through this with the quarterbacks they had before Caden McNamara and J.J. McCarthy. I don't want to say their names because I don't like to say bad things about Michigan guys. Shea Patterson. But no, it was, if you don't have the right quarterback, it handicaps everything you do. You see this consistently in the NFL and in college.
And I don't know what, and he was obviously broken at the end of that game. And it's one thing to lose last second like they did against Georgia Tech. No shame in that lot, but I mean, just the way they came out, looked like crap early on. And then I see that we do this all the time. I don't want to take away from
reflection on the senior quarterback.
Syracuse is
reflection on the senior quarterback, Pete.
But Kublik he's just not very good. And the thing then you had the Arch Manning people again, Okay, who they play? Who they play? Sam Houston.
He's trying to.
I mean,
he's trying to be a tough guy with Jamoke State. I mean, come on. Really?
Not when
do that against an SEC team.
Yeah, well, they got Florida coming up next. So if the Gators play defense like that,
they suck. They suck too. We should talk about Langway too.
Yeah, but Langway, the whole offense couldn't. They had 32 yards in the first half. Miami's defense was just absolutely stifling. They couldn't get anything done. And Miami played a pedestrian type of offense. Their whole game plan was going to be run in that game. It will be very different against Florida State in a couple of weeks when they play up there. But Miami's defense, and you look at them. They were in the game against LSU with 5 picks. They're in that game down the stretch. We talked about this. They've been in every game. Although the SEC official took a touchdown away from Miami.
He's regressed though, Pete. He's regressed clearly.
Yeah, and because
I think he's completely regressed.
The offense around him is just. They just haven't been consistent at all. And I'm not going to take anything away from Miami's defense, but I have a feeling that Texas is going to be in for a very tough game up in Gainesville next week. I do. I think they'll be, because Texas doesn't impress me at all. They just don't. And these three tough games he went 0 for 10 at one point 2 weeks ago. And who they play this week?
Some Houston State. He's trying to pick fights.
Yeah,
and fights and dunking on guys. What the hell are you doing?
He's padding his stats against Sam Houston, 55-0. Are you kidding me? Sam Houston State, really? And you couldn't do it against UTEP, which is a worse team than Sam Houston State. So I don't mind saying it. I think the Gators.
Clearly the expectations and all the noise have gotten to him. And that's just human nature. I mean, it's just, I'm sure if I was the lead story on SportsCenter and it was, hey, Flannelly sucks, that's what everybody talks about. Because this is a very strange year in college football. I don't see a great team. And last year was like that too. I don't know, we had an historic team like, the LSU Joe Burrow team. Our team that went undefeated in 23, and there's been a couple other teams. The Alabama team Saban had, the one where you had about 6 NFL starting running backs, with Derrick Henry and Josh Jacobs and other Alvin Kamara was somehow there. They had basically the entire NFL backfield, and it was interesting to see. But we'll see.
Still very early season. We got it. We're getting cream puff games here from most of these teams, and now we're going to get into heavy conference play. So we'll.
I'm excited to see where some of my old favorites like James Franklin blow games, and Ryan Day's got his one loss coming. We know which one that is, and there's to be a couple other ones too. But again, I like your team. I think they've made a nice transition. You make a really great point about Bain and the defense being the ringleader. And that helps because
Bain right now should be a Heisman Trophy candidate. He will never. He'll be. Yeah. He could be a tie. Because they never give it to defensive players. Very, very.
I think he'll be invited. He'll be invited like Adamakin Sue and Aiden Hutchinson were. But I think, clearly the thing that's helping you guys is I think the ACC is a little better than people think normally. And part of that is weird because Clemson stinks. But Florida State's back. It's amazing how they've had success when their quarterback's leg doesn't snap like a twig, like it did a couple of years ago in the end of the year. And then last year was a complete mess. But you guys have done well coming off with Ward. And Carson Beck's come in and blended and done a good job. We talked about this beginning of the year. They reinvested in the defensive backs, in the NIL and the portal. And that's one of the reasons why Notre Dame has lost the games they have. They had injuries and defections in the back seven, and that's hurt their team. And you guys went and invested in that. It's nice to bring in the flashy quarterback.
They have the best they have the best offensive line in the country. They got the best defensive line in the country right now. They just manhandle people, and you can't.
You want that left tackle on the Patriots, Pete. Left tackle on the Patriots, Pete. And you can move Will Campbell to left guard.
Yeah, well,
so you could. That would make sense.
Will Campbell had a really good game yesterday. If you don't fumble,
You being sarcastic?
Well, no, I saw the numbers.
He would.
No, he didn't. I saw the numbers, Jay. The numbers don't reflect what you said. The numbers on his side didn't allow a sack. They lost that game because their running backs can't hang on to the football. Plain and simple. They should have won.
He allowed
should have won that game.
Oh, I know they should have won the game, but I thought Will allowed like 7 or 8 pressures.
No, just I saw the numbers. Mike Reese had the numbers. I looked at them, and they were a couple of pressures. Yeah,
I wasn't able to watch. No, Moses.
They lost the ball because Andre Stevenson sucks, and if he gets the ball one more time,
I don't know why he's on the team anymore. I don't know why he's there.
He had that good game against Miami.
But the crazy thing is, Pete. They took him out and they put Gibson and he fumbled within like 5 plays.
I know. And
I saw that part of it.
And Travion Henderson, so they say, is not ready to be that everyday back yet. But I don't care about everyday backs. That's not the way their style anyway. With very few years, very few exceptions.
Use them like Dave Meggett. Use them like Dave Meggett.
Corey Dillon. I mean, that's when you knew you had to beat your back. But they don't need – just hang on to the damn ball.
No. I'm saying use them. Yeah, use them as a scat back type of like what James White and Deion Lewis were. You don't have to run them up the middle 3 times. But you're right about Stevenson. That kills their team. And this isn't a new problem. He's been fumbling for 3 coaches.
Yeah, he's got to go.
I mean,
he's got to go. I can't stand it. I can't stand it.
You know what? You know what would be really interesting if Vrabel wants to send a message? I would cut him today.
He might have to see the film. He said last night after the game, you had to watch the film. He was like, let's see about technique. The first fumble, he tried to switch hands. I'm like, what are you doing? And the second fumble on the goal line. I mean, it's amazing. And then Pop Douglas doesn't know where he is. Instead of falling forward for a foot and getting the first down on 4th and 1, he takes a step back.
Oh, I know.
Just stupid. His explanation with that goofy smile on his face, I couldn't stand it. It's just a shame because they could have won that game easily by 10 points. The defense was so good yesterday, did so many good things. And every time they get the offense, get the ball back, just a couple of drives that the fumbleitis was just sickening, absolutely sickening. And I thought Drake May played another really good game overall. And you have 3 fumbles from your running backs. I mean, and one they're all costly, all of them costly. Especially the goal line one. And they still, after all of that, had a chance to tie the game down the stretch, but Pop Douglas can't figure out where the first down marker is. It's frustrating as hell.
I can't for the life of me understand what Pop was doing on that 4th down. I mean, it's just common sense. Just catch the ball and fall forward.
Yep.
I mean, Julian Edelman, Danny Amendola, Troy Brown. There's so many guys who would have done that. David Gibbons. I mean, it's just not having sense and knowing where you are on the field. Just insane. You made a great point about the defense and Spillane and Jalen Hawkins and some of the other guys playing well. It'd be nice if Christian Gonzalez could play, but hey, whatever.
Whatever. There were 2 bad calls against the Patriots in the second quarter that led to a touchdown, but and Reynolds too is playing great. Kid from Boston College is playing very well for the Patriots defense.
Harold Lynn, yeah.
Yes.
And I liked Carlton Davis, I guess, played pretty well yesterday. My cousins was there at the game. They told me because Carlton was covering Metcalf most of the game.
Yeah, and that's why
he's also unfortunately made of glass. Yeah, he's unfortunately made of glass too. He's always hurt.
Because Gonzalez last year had a really good game against Metcalf when the Patriots played Seattle, even though they brought Gonzalez really, really well in that game.
Yeah. If you watch and follow him over his career, he only runs like 2 routes, and he's a weird player. He looks like he should be really good, and he's good, but he should be like Calvin Johnson. In like that level of Larry Fitzgerald, big power guy. And he's not. Like how Marvin Harrison Jr. is completely soft. Mm-hmm. Dropped another touchdown yesterday.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we'll see. But, no, it was interesting to see. I think the Patriots, they don't have a lot of talent. But so they can't overcome, Ramondre Stevenson being bad.
Not fine. They nearly did it. That would have been a miracle if they ever pulled that off.
Yes. And the right tackle being bad and a bunch of other stuff. I mean, the right tackle is 75 years old, for Christ's sakes, trying to block T.J. Watt. it just offsets everything. And you have the two kids on the left side, and those are always premier positions and players they're against. So, could be worse. You could be a Packers fan. So,
well, that was unbelievable. I
nice
mean,
win, but
that's why the NFL. That's
that
why
was awesome.
it's only week 3, and the Patriots. Carolina shutting out Atlanta. That was unbelievable. 30-0. And Michael Penix Jr. just
And
lost.
please, can you explain to me Raheem Morris and the poor Falcons? What the hell that was?
No, I can't.
I
can explain the Green Bay Packers. I know technically net yardage wise going into the game yesterday, Cleveland had technically the number 1 defense, but still, remember, and this is why when people speak in absolutes after week 1 or week 2, the Packers are going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
it's week 2. I don't care if they won both games 100-0. There's nobody guaranteeing anything after week 2. Can we at least wait a month before we start anointing anybody? I mean, my God, it's just it's crazy. But the Packers losing the way they did yesterday was, I think, the Falcons getting shut out. The Packers losing the way they did was quite shocking. And then, I mean, there were a couple. There was some, and I think the Buccaneers squeaking out a win against the Jets, which was great. Some blocked field goals. The Eagles.
A lot of players, Pete. Lost a lot of players. Mike Evans went down. They're down 3 starting offensive linemen. They lost 2 more guys on defense. You and I might be lining up for the Bucs next week. There's nobody left,
and they've had Godwin out.
Godwin
hasn't played either yet this year. So
he's probably gonna play this week. Yeah. He's close.
Yep.
Godwin, and that it's good because Mike popped his hammy. He could barely walk.
Yeah.
So not good. And it's funny. I wore my. Well, see, this is funny. I wore my Mike Evans jersey yesterday, and he got hurt. So I'm not wearing Aiden's jersey today. I'm not wearing. When one guy goes down, I buck the trends. I'm not gonna help the hospitals of America, even though they're good for us. But Jesus, that wasn't good. Mike's hurt. So
speaking of
not good. And Baker Mayfield. Yeah, Baker Mayfield's incredible, by the way, if we didn't know that already.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Pete. I'm sorry. You're talking about
Speaking of your Lions and Aiden Hutchinson, we're not going to have a repeat of 2 years ago, right? Where Baltimore put up 503 total yards, 38-6 romp over Detroit. The pass is the past. I think this is going to be a hell of a game tonight. I think there's going to be a lot of points in this game. I think it's going to be something like 30-27. Somebody wins. But what are you expecting out of this game tonight?
It's funny. Did you bring up the game in 23? That was the one game all year where the Lions got their heads caved in, and that was the year that they won the 2 home playoff games and they got to San Francisco for the NFC Championship game, and then Jared Goff became the pumpkin in the second half. But and a lot of weird things happened. They had a ball go off a guy's head. There was a big completion to Ayuk. So it's interesting. No, I think it's going to be a really good game. The Lions traditionally have trouble with hyper-athletic quarterbacks. Last time I checked, that's like the poster of Lamar Jackson. And then they got this Derrick Henry guy who's probably bigger than 75% of the players on the Lions, including Aiden. So we'll see. I think it's good and important for the Lions to get a good start. Traditionally, they don't do really well outdoors. But, this time of year, the weather isn't that bad. And, a lot of this is Goff. Goff has, he's from California. He doesn't translate well in the weather. There's a lot of quarterbacks who are like that. Drew Brees, hello. But obviously our friend Satan Manning is another one, even though he was in Denver. But we'll see. I think it's, like you said, I think it's going to be a pretty good game. But you never know with these games. I thought that Miami-Buffalo game was going to be a lot of points, and it kind of went sideways, and your boy Snoopy actually did a good job in the game. So you never know. Like you just said, it's week 3. This could be 3-2.
The one thing
we don't know. We don't know. We don't think it's going to be that way.
The one that's in the Ravens' favor, though, is that doesn't matter who. They're 22-3 in primetime games at home under John Harbaugh. They've also won 5 straight Monday night games. Not that any of that stuff usually comes into play, but I find that it does. When it comes to stuff and stats like that, for some reason, and Baltimore's been unbelievable on Monday nights. But I think this is going to be like 30-27, something like that. I think we're in for a hell of an entertaining game tonight. Just got a feeling. And Gibbs is going to have to run the ball well. We know Henry probably is going to run the ball well. And Lamar Jackson has been ridiculous in prime time and on Monday Night Football. What are the stats that I have here? Where is it? Jackson, Lamar Jackson has thrown 22 touchdown passes and no interceptions in 9 games as a starter on Monday night. Wow. Can they get to him? Can they get to him? Force him into those.
I think they're going to blitz. They're going to blitz. They have better secondary players than pass rush guys, even with Aiden, because they haven't addressed the bringing another edge to help Aiden out. And I'm not talking about Lawrence Taylor. I'm talking about somebody somewhere between Lawrence Welk and Lawrence Taylor. We need a good player. We don't need this thing coming to Christ. We need a good NFL starting the end. The Don Blackman or Carl Banks to Andre Tippett and Lawrence Taylor. If you don't understand that reference, look it up. So the Robin to Batman.
Were you ever forced to watch? Were you ever forced to watch Lawrence Welk at any point? Like when you had your older relatives over late on a Sunday
I grew up a lot watching it because it was my grandmother's favorite show.
Mine too.
Or one of her favorite shows. She used to watch it all the time, and because that's my grandmother.
It was Sunday night, right? It was Sunday night or Saturday night?
No, Saturday night.
Saturday night. If we ever had a party at our house for somebody's birthday or whatever, inevitably, of course, I would go in the other room and watch football if it was on. But it was just like they all would gather around, all my older relatives that would gather around and just like in awe. And everybody in the audience had white hair. Everybody had white hair in the audience.
I have no hair, so there you go. So there you go.
But yeah, that was one of the most popular, highly rated shows. But I used to be like, oh no, please! On the big, we had an RCA at the time, pretty decent sized TV for its day, floor model, and I'm like, Dad, can I go in the library? At a library, I was like, I don't want to stay here and watch Lawrence Welk. I hated Bubbles. And I know, but you were sort of forced, and then I was like, I don't see my relatives all that often. It's a special day. Am I going to be guilty? And then you hear those first absolutely wishy-washy tunes that will come out of there, and these people that were dressed like I don't know, like
they were going to a funeral.
No,
they were going to a funeral.
Rocco studs and everything. I don't know. It's just like it was so corny to me. But man, the older people back then loved it. They absolutely loved it.
Oh yeah. Well, because it was a different time. You had, Bob Hope was still doing stuff, and we just went through Labor Day, the great Jerry Lewis telethons, and a lot of the stuff that was going on. Channel 5 in Boston with Natalie Jacobs and Chuck Curtis.
The Jerry Lewis telethon stuff was a hip type of thing. We'd have Sinatra.
Oh, yeah.
How about Frank?
Yeah, but I'm talking about how TV was different. TV was different back then. Oh, yeah. Remember, again, Pete, these kids today don't understand what you and I grew up until Fox. There were the 3 networks in PBS, and then Fox really changed things.
Well, I was lucky in Rhode Island. But I was lucky in Rhode Island. Yeah. We had a really cool outdoor antenna on top of our house, so I could get channel 56 and 38, clear as a bell. Clear as a bell. So that's how. I mean, that was an added bonus. I used to have to turn the little the antenna thing on the TV. It go da-dong, 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 da-dong.
The movie loft. You got to watch the movie loft and all that other stuff.
Dana Hersey. How about Dana Hersey? We Don't Knock. One of the great shows. He'd be shit-faced going to knock on people's doors. Watch many.
And my man Dale Dorman on Channel 56, who lived in Andover, and it was great, 2 blocks down. Yep.
Knew Dale a little bit. He was an idol of mine growing up.
He lived 2 doors down from. I'm sorry, Pete. He lived 2 doors down from Robert York. Dale Dorman did.
Legendary DJ, and then you heard him on before, in the afternoon at 56, before the Brady Bunch and Gilligan's Island and all that stuff, and got to meet
Uncle Dale.
Uncle Dale, got to meet him later on. And my radio, when I was in Boston, got invited to a couple of parties, and he was always there. Just a quiet guy, but really.
Did you ever see his car? Did you ever see his car?
Yes.
The convertible, yes.
Yeah.
And Matt Siegel has similar.
Yeah.
Because Matty used to drive through Andover too all the time, and Matty was around.
Yeah.
And he's like you. He got tired of the radio business and said. So,
what I always loved about Matty is Matty had no idea about any of the music that he played for years, with very few exceptions. Very few exceptions.
Completely hilarious, by the way, but 100% true.
Love him.
The equivalent of you coming in and not knowing it. Yeah, the equivalent of me and you coming and not knowing who the center for the Boston Celtics is. So, I mean, that's the equivalent of what he used. Who's these Aerosmith guys? I mean, really. I mean, it's just pretty funny.
But he obviously had the number one show.
But his show was great, and people ate it up. He was great, and he was around forever. I grew up. I remember him and Lisa Lips back in the like 1982. Because that was my mother's favorite morning show.
Yeah,
so,
he was great.
He was great.
He would call into the Big Show. He would call in a couple times a year on the Big Show, which was like unheard of back then to have, especially when you're not in the same company, have somebody outside. But I was a guest one time on his show. Glenn was, and for a few minutes, and we always had a very mutual respect for each other. Different, even though I think the radio business gets so caught up in that stuff, or used to anyway. Now everybody's going bankrupt. But back then, it's like you couldn't mention somebody else who was working on for another company like CBS, as opposed to back in the day, Entercom or Odyssey, whatever. You had like Clear Channel. You had about 4 or 5 big radio companies, and God forbid you mention somebody in a positive way on another company's show, and you'd be like, you'd get crucified. But anywho. All right, so what you going on?
Because you brought it up, Pete. I wanted to ask you this. So going back to your time with Glenn and EI, and you've talked about this a lot. What do you think was the peak time for you guys, the Big Show, in WEI? Is there an obvious answer?
I think it started. When
the Patriots started winning.
I would say. It started to gain its huge momentum in 2001. Yeah, that was a big part of it. And then, but everybody was winning.
You're a big part of that. You and Fred and Steve with the Patriot stuff.
Yeah, well, Steve wasn't with us yet at 2001. Okay. But he obviously was there after 2004. But yeah.
No, it was because it Steve Nelson? It was Steve Nelson. Steve Nelson was with you.
Not on the post-game show. He was there on Fridays, and he was there with us a couple times a week.
When he was the athletic director and football coach at where was he coaching? He was coaching college.
Yeah, at oh my God, Steve Chapman.
Like Plymouth State, or it was a small college.
No, it was.
Oh my God, I'm forgetting where.
I think the ones that their purple uniforms. Oh my God, Steve Ciaccio, producer, went there. Oh my God, it'll come to me.
I'm looking it up.
I'm looking it up. They were pro. Anyway, yeah. So I'd say about them, but then you got to remember the Red Sox started to become really good, and I thought the most hysterical thing was our ratings in 2005 for the Red Sox were better than they were in 2004, even though 2005 they could get swept by the White Sox. That was the Graffinino era.
Curry College, Pete. Curry College.
Yes, Curry College. Yep. A lot of good football players there. A lot of good football players.
Yeah, I mean, it was I loved Nelly. Nelly was one of my favorite players when I was a kid because I was a linebacker. So
then we used to always kid him about Doc and Nelly's, which the restaurant that he owned with Dr. played for the Patriots. He was a dentist. Oh my God, begin with an L. But Doc and Nelly's was a fine sports bar for about 4 or 5 months. I think then it shut down. So we used to always kid him about that. But anyway. It is what it is. All right, what else you got going on?
Randy Vataha?
Randy Vataha.
Who was the guy you owned the restaurant with?
No,
it was Randy Vataha.
No, it was Dr. Linkaitis, I think, was his name.
Bill Linkaitis. Bill Linkaitis, the offensive lineman.
Yes.
I got you.
Yep.
I didn't know about that, Pete. Good call. I had no idea.
So you got Michigan has a week
go ahead.
off.
What were you saying? Go ahead.
Michigan has a week off, and then you got Wisconsin at your place at the Big House a week from Saturday, I believe. Wisconsin, very, very.
So I got to tell you what's going on. You're going to love this. So Saturday they're having a big country concert at the Big House with John Mayer and Luke Bryant. So it's like a home weekend for us with the business, and it's going to be. I mean, it's a huge. We're going to have 110,000 country fans here, whatever you call John Mayer's fans. John Mayer and Luke Bryant, big show at the Big House. So there you go.
That's awesome.
Going to raise up money for our quarterback and other players, Pete. So there you go. So
I wish I liked country music. It's just not my thing. But I appreciate it. I respect it. It's just not my. Never has.
I can only listen to Mama Slip of the Milkman so many times. I mean, it's I just can't do it anymore.
I know it's a lot.
I don't know why. I'm not really into music anymore. I'm old, Pete. I listen to sports radio all day.
Yeah. All right. Finally, I wanted to ask
podcasts. Yeah, go ahead.
I think the biggest shock of the weekend for college football anyway was Illinois.
Thank you for not asking about the Mets. Continue. Go.
No, about Illinois being manhandled by Indiana, 63-10. I mean, that was.
What do you make of that?
What I make of it is I told you at the beginning I thought Illinois was way highly overrated anyway. I wasn't sure what Indiana was all about, but
Cignetti's legit.
Yeah, that was an ass whipping beyond belief. I mean, I know Nebraska doesn't beat anybody good. Nebraska never beats a ranked opponent. Illinois, I don't think, has beaten a lot of ranked opponents either over the years.
No.
And I don't know. That was an ass whipping beyond belief what Indiana did to them on Saturday. 60.
What do you make of that? Can Cignetti stay there like the next 8 to 10 years? Is he going to get picked up by like an Auburn or a Clemson or a big money
Florida?
Some of these that have the quote underachieving coach. Because listen, CPR, my high school coach, his son's a big alum of Indiana, and they have money. They have donors. The Big Ten schools have money and donors. So, and that's part of what's happened here with the NIL and no more Bubba the Love Sponge giving out the bags of money at the local breakfast place. The stuff's public and out there. Everybody knows what your quarterback's getting paid. You got Carson Beck. We got Bryce Underwood. Ohio State spending $25 million on their team last year, and they couldn't beat Michigan, and stuff like that. But it's interesting to see if he's going to stay at Indiana because he's the real deal. I got another one. When Penn State loses and they finally send Franklin on his way, there's another place.
Well. Speaking of another game, before I let you speak, another game against ranked teams and highly ranked teams, and Penn State hosts Oregon this week on Saturday night, and as one of these James,
two choking dog coaches. Let's see which one chokes the other. So I mean, it's Lanning's the next big game. Lanning wins is when the first one he's going to win. Hold on, Ohio State just scored on him again. So I mean, they didn't do that to us, but I know they did it to Lanning and friends.
Here's what's going to happen if the USF Bulls keep winning. Their coaches, because I could see their coach moving on to Indiana and then Segretti moving on to Florida or something like that. That is something I could absolutely.
Is that Alex Greenwich? Is he the coach?
For who? USF?
Who's the USF coach?
No,
is it Alex?
No, Angel Golis. Yeah.
Is he the guy who was Lincoln Riley's defensive coordinator? Was he another coach?
All I know is he's going to be a hot commodity. He's going to be a hot commodity. I do not expect him to be with the Bulls next year. I think if the way they keep playing and what they do.
Well, Angel's got to go fundraise for this guy. I mean, you got to keep him around. But no, it's welcome to my life. The coach is looking to leave, like the guys in Los Angeles did for about 4 years. That's why we had to go out and do portal, running back, wide receiver, and quarterback, because the Sainted head coach was flirting with the NFL for 4 years. Among other things that he did.
They're 3-1. Their only losses to Miami, but they beat Boise State. They beat Florida when they were ranked 25th and 13th, respectively. They unloaded on South Carolina State. So they're home against Charlotte, which should be a win. Home against FAU, that should be a win. Before that, they're home against Charlotte. Then they're at North Texas. That team is 4-0. Be careful.
I know.
Yeah, be careful with them.
Texas is no joke.
Then they're home against.
So you just mentioned Charlotte. Charlotte, that's where Biff used to coach. He was the head coach of Charlotte. Biff that's where he was, and those idiots fired him. Listen, Pete, I got to roll.
Go ahead.
You and Angel have a good week. Talk to you later, buddy. Enjoy the game tonight.
Friday. Take care. There you go.
Enjoy the rest of your show, bud.
Yeah, that's Jay Flanley from Bees World up in Ann Arbor as well. All right, go ahead, Angel.
No, I was going to say take care, Jay, but he was already gone.
All right, let's take another quick break here, Angel, and then when we come back, we got more, some college football, some NFL highlights, maybe even some MLB highlights as well. Part of the Pete Sheppard Show here on the Coastal Sports Digital Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Hey, everybody, it's Pete Sheppard from the Coastal Sports Network. Want to tell you about my good friend Lou DiMuzio and his company. Lou is the president and founder of Ace Technology Advisors. They're big-time tech specialists. At ATA, they're able to craft, implement, and manage the best and most appropriate solution for your business. They leverage their industry-leading experience and their portfolio of technology partners to improve your best practices and infrastructure. So you can get a hold of them at 888-599-4223. That's 888-599-4223. Check them out on their webpage, www.acetechadvisors.com. That's www.acetechadvisors.com. Or you can email them sales@acetechadvisors.com. Check out my friend Lou DiMuzio and Ace Technology Advisors.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
Interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding.
Whoa!
Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Woohoo! Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
The Pete Sheppard Show. It's fun for the whole family, if it's dysfunctional.
Fly ball, right field. That's got a chance to go, and that baby's gone. Home run for Brandon Lau. That's number 30 for Brandon. The Rays have a 4-1 lead.
And welcome back to the Pete Sheppard Show here on a Monday on the Coastal Sports Digital Network. That home run yesterday, thanks to FanDuel Sports for the call. Brandon Lowe with his solo shot, and that gave the Rays a 4-1 lead over the Red Sox yesterday, and they go on to beat the Red Sox by a score of 7-3. They avoid the sweep. They had lost 8 in a row to the Red Sox. They win. They finished 41-40, Angel, at Steinbrenner Field. 41-40. In that little bandbox of a stadium. Big question is, will they play there next year?
Nope. Nope, they won't.
Sure?
Nope, they won't, because that was a one. This was a 1-year deal with the Rays, and especially with the Yankees, because the Yankees told them, "No, you guys got 1 year here with us." They also had the improvements they had to make across the street over to the minor league team. But no, to me, if they're going to stay in Tampa, they're going to have to figure out where they're going to play, whether it's a high school, convert it into a Major League Baseball stadium. But they are going to be back in St. Pete next year, only because of the deal that they had. Again, unless the new ownership decides to say, nope, we're not. Here's where we're going to play temporarily until we get a new field in for the Rays. But for right now, I don't believe they're going to be back at Steinbrenner Field.
All right, and that seems like in the ongoing saga of where it's not as the world turns, it's as the Rays turn. Where will they be? Where will they be? By the way, the Red Sox went 4 for 11 with runners in scoring position, and they struck out 14 times last night. And unbelievable. Anyway, the Red Sox have the night off, and then they close out the season with 3 on the road at Toronto and then home against Detroit to close out the regular season. They just gotta hang in there. And if we take a look at the standings very quickly here, whoops, that's not what I want. That's what I want. Look at the Major League Baseball standings. Oh my God. There we go. Toronto and the American League East still on top of the Yankees by 2, and the Red Sox are just still only 5 games back. But that seems like that's not going to happen unless they sweep the Blue Jays. If that happens, who knows? Then things could get really interesting. We're looking at the wild card picture right now. The Yankees still on top with a 4-game lead. The Red Sox have a 1-game lead on Cleveland, and Houston is right there also with the same record as Cleveland, but Cleveland has the tiebreaker edge over Houston. The Red Sox have the tiebreaker edge over Cleveland and Houston, so that's good. But they're hanging in there. It's going to come right down to the wire. And Cleveland finally lost yesterday. They had a back-to-back doubleheader sweep, shutout sweep over the weekend against the Twins. Then we look over in the National League in the wild card race. The Cubs are on top by 8 games in the wild card race. San Diego is 3 behind the Cubs in second, and Cincinnati all of a sudden has gotten up there. They have passed the Mets. They're tied with the same record at 80 and 76, but if the playoffs were to start today, Jay Flannery's New York Mets would not be in the postseason. That is absolutely unbelievable.
Yep.
let's do a quick little MLB rundown, just for shits and giggles. As long as we're here, we're waiting for Christopher Price, going to call in. Hold on, let me check my text. Whenever I get text late, you never know. Yes, Chris has a heart out at 9:15. I'm going to tell him you can call in anytime. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so yesterday in Major League Baseball, Cincinnati, how about this?
Will hit to right, down for a hit. Wave is on for McLean. Suzuki just now scoops off balance. He missed the ball. McLean scores. And Luck shuts it down at second. An RBI standing double. 1-0 Reds.
Thanks to FanDuel Cincinnati for that one. Also, and because of that win, there was only one scored in the game. Reds move into the playoff berth right now.
Got him looking. Swing complete. The Reds are in playoff position. A 1-0 final. Bookend donut deliveries.
There you go. All right, is Chris on the line with us now? Okay.
Yes.
Joining us from the Boston Globe, just like that. I told him he could call in. He has a heart out at 9:15. We'll get him out a little bit before that just because I'm a nice guy. Christopher, good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Pete. How are you, my friend? And I appreciate your flexibility.
No problem. You should see me. Yeah, I can do cartwheels during the show. That's how flexible I am. I'm very nimble since I moved to Florida. Anyway, speaking of nimble, I'm not going to see Ramondre Stevenson again. I know after the game yesterday, Vrabel talked about technique and all that bullshit. And I saw the technique, and I rewound it a million times and saw it. And I've had enough. I've had enough. And I don't want to hear about they don't have a feature every day back. They haven't had a featured every day back since, Corey Dillon. I don't want to hear it. It can't happen. It cannot happen. It is such a shame because even towards the end, and then Pop Douglas, and I hated that answer he gave, and I hated the laughing and the giggling while he was giving it. And he doesn't know where first down marker is. Just a couple of little things. You go back, and I'm like, they should have won this game by 10 points. I mean, the Patriots easily should have won this game by 10 points. Every time the defense made some great stops, we get fumbleitis between Stevenson, the one by Gibson. Drake had one as well, but overall, I think he played a pretty good game and gave them every opportunity. That SUCK sucked yesterday, Christopher. Sucked. And they still almost could have won it with 5 turnovers, or at least tied it.
That's the maddening thing, Pete, is that they were better than the Steelers for the majority of the game. It was in a lot of ways, it was 180 degrees different from last week against the Dolphins, where they made some bad mistakes and they kind of fell, ass backwards into a win. This is a team that has the margin for error that's such that they cannot commit 3 turnovers in a game or 2 turnovers in a game, let alone 5. That was a winnable game for New England, and you're entering a situation, I think, where this is a very delicate week for the development of this young roster. When you look at what they have in the road ahead, the immediate road ahead, there's a world of difference for them when it comes to going 1-3 versus 2-2. 2-2, you can still be considered a serious team going into games against, New Orleans and Atlanta down the road. You're in a situation now where it's not a must-win. You never have a must-win game in September, but I think this week is going to tell us an awful lot about this Patriots team, whether or not they can bounce back from what happened on Sunday.
What about Stevenson, though? I mean, it's been going on for a couple of years now. It can't happen. It can't happen. I don't know why he was trying to switch hands on the first fumble. That's the way I looked at it. The second one was just as bad at the goal line. I mean, it can't happen. It just can't. They got to move on. I don't care what he did against Miami. Great, 1 in a million shot. But I've had it with him.
I think we're looking at a situation now, Pete, where Trevion Henderson is going to get more snaps moving forward. I don't think that they're completely done with Ramondre as we sit here right now, but I think you're going to start to see more of the rookie emerge as a quote-unquote feature back. This was a guy who was on the field in crunch time yesterday, who didn't post especially overwhelming offensive numbers, but at the same time was a guy who was able to run between the tackles, and he didn't give the ball up. And when you add it all up. When you look at Henderson and you look at the fact that he never lost a fumble at Ohio State, granted, his pro sample size is relatively small. And then you look at what's happened to Stevenson over the last year plus, you start to wonder if this is the best move for the team. I thought Stevenson, this is the last thing I'll say on this. I thought Stevenson was great after the game. He said, look, he was informed as to what Vrabel said. He said, we absolutely need him. And he said, look, if I can't hold on to the ball, if I can't show value, there's no reason for you to be here anymore. And so he was very bottom line with us. He's completely cognizant of what's going on. He knows he needs to fix it moving forward.
Yeah, I just don't know what kind of leash he's going to be on, and I'm wondering this week when I'm sure somebody's going to ask him, you or others are going to ask him this technique he was talking about after the game last night. What Vrabel was talking about after the game. I'm just going to play it real quick here.
It's like you sit there and we're so excited about him, and everybody's excited about him. The fans are, and we know what his capabilities are. We got to get him back. We need him. We absolutely need him. You see what he was able to do for us last week, his ability to make some plays. And, again, we'll just have to look at the technique. We'll have to look at the ball security.
All right, and there's more, but that's all. I mean, the technique and the ball security. How many techniques can one guy have? How many chances can you have?
Pete, I mean, it's not like it's a super complicated thing. I'll say that. We sit here and we watch sports, and sometimes guys are just not getting something because it's a scheme thing, or it's a fit, or they're asking him to do something that he's not comfortable doing or capable of doing. This is something that Ramondre Stevenson has done a million times before. Look, this guy rushed for 1,000 yards in the league. This guy's had success at this level. And so I wonder, and he kind of hinted at this yesterday, a psychological thing. I think it goes beyond technique. I think it just goes beyond, the simple approach of carry the ball here as opposed to carry the ball here. So, look, he's going to be a guy that's going to be, it's going to deserve watching moving forward. The other thing, too, and look, man, fans probably don't give a crap about this, and I understand that, but this is a dude who's gone through a really horrible year. This is a guy who lost his father. He lost his best friend. He's really undergone an awful lot away from the field. And again, I know that we're looking at it purely through a football lens right now, but this is a young guy who's struggling, and I'm fascinated to see how he's going to be able to get through all of this once it all kind of shakes out.
I'm looking at some of the numbers, and Stephon Diggs now at 48.3% through 3 games. He's still, they've never taken one of those 40-yard bombs to him yet. Is he progressing, or are we seeing the best that he is going to be? This is what we're going to see all year, 10, 15-yard routes, square in, square out, basically, and that's it? Are we ever going to see any fly patterns, anything?
Well, I think the home run hitter on this offense right now is Kayshon Boutte. And I mean, you can have two. I understand that. But I think the guy who Drake May feels the most comfortable with when it comes to, the deep stuff is more Boutte than Diggs. I think Diggs is going to evolve. I think he's going to continue to evolve. I think that he is a guy who is kind of coming to terms with this stage of his football life. And when I say that, I mean, this is a guy who doesn't have the explosiveness that he had. But he's still smart enough, and he's still nimble enough, and he's still quick enough to be able to make significant gains in the short and intermediate passes. He is not the kind of guy who's going to be able to take the top off the defense anymore. I think, at least as we sit here right now, he could still evolve into that, but there's still some things that he's working through post ACL that I think are kind of playing out in real time in front of our eyes.
What do you think overall? I think the offensive line yesterday, I thought Will Campbell, I saw some of the numbers. I mean, overall, again, I think the offensive line had a pretty good game. If the guys don't fumble the ball, they had a great game. I mean, I think they did overall a pretty good job again. How'd you take it?
I think, Pete, with this offense, yesterday we saw from Pittsburgh, and look, the Pittsburgh defense is a little raggedy coming into this game. They had 2 games where they gave up 30-plus points. The Pittsburgh defense did a really good job of playing a team game yesterday. The back end of that defense is really struggling. Safeties, I thought Jabril Peppers came up big, and the Patriots could use a guy like that on the other side of the ball, quite frankly. But, their defensive front, the Cam Haywards, the TJ Watts, they were able to get after May in a manner which allowed them to kind of camouflage some of the defense, the deficiencies that they had on the back end of that defense. So I thought the Steelers' defensive front did really well in terms of getting sustained pressure on May. Now, that being said, I think the offensive line played okay, and they played pretty well over the course of the first 3 games. I don't think that's really the problem when you're putting together a short list of, what's ailing the Patriots these days. I agree with you on that point.
Yep, absolutely. Now, the defense, I thought, was excellent yesterday. I mean, they gave that offense every damned opportunity, causing some 3-and-outs after some fumble. I mean, just I was very impressed overall. Harold Landry III has been just absolutely outstanding. Spillane was great yesterday. And I really thought once he got that pick on Rodgers to begin the second half, I said, here we go. There's the Aaron I know and love.
Yeah.
And the momentum was going to all swing back the other way for the Patriots. And it did for a time, but but overall, your assessment of the D so far, not just yesterday, but I think it's been pretty darn good first 3 games.
I think it's been good. I think they've been hurt by big plays. I think that the Steelers and the Dolphins too. Look, the Dolphins do it to everybody, even though they're struggling. The Patriots give up a lot of explosive plays, and I think a lot of that can be remedied with Christian Gonzalez back in the lineup. Christian Gonzalez is the first defensive domino for this team, and once he's in place, you can go back to doing things that maybe you couldn't necessarily do when Carlton Davis III is your number 1 cornerback and Alex Austin is your number 2 cornerback. You are able to roll some things out there and take some chances on the back end with a guy like Gonzalez as opposed to what they have out there now. So I think that they've done relatively well for the first 2+ games, playing some good team defense, like you referenced before, because the problems on the back end have been covered up by a pretty good pass rush, like you said, Harold Landry, Milton Williams, those guys. But you need to have your best defensive player on the field if you want to be considered a serious football team. And Christian Gonzalez, that's we've been pounding that drum all week up here. Is he available to play? Is he ready to play? Is he going to play? We're going to pound that drum again all week going into the Carolina game. This is a guy who hasn't been on the field with his teammates since July 28th because of a hamstring injury. We're going on 2 months now. So that's going to be a really important thing moving forward. And then one more thing about the defense.
Sure.
Defensive coordinator Terrell Williams was not there yesterday. Mm-hmm. He's been struggling with health issues. I'm really curious to see how this, and I know we're going to talk to Vrabel a little bit about this today, how this impacts the defensive game plan moving forward. Inside linebackers coach Zach Kerr was the defensive play caller, but I have to imagine that there's more on Vrabel's plate when it comes to play calling and kind of helping out Kerr than he initially anticipated when he named Terrell Williams the defensive coordinator back in January or February, whatever it is. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens on the defensive side of the ball. Are you going to get Gonzalez back? Is Terrell Williams coming back? All of these questions after 3 games really makes for a compelling football team.
Yeah, and the refs kind of handed Pittsburgh a couple of gimmies. There were a couple of times with Alex Austin and also with Davis III. There are a couple of really bad calls that even if you weren't listening to the TV broadcast, they even said it was some really bad calls. But I think they really missed Christian Gonzalez. Remember, Christian's not mistaken. Chris Wright had a really good game with DK against Metcalf last year when he was with Seattle. I was hoping up until late Friday afternoon he'd be able to get in there, but not the case.
Yeah, I think there's some gamesmanship, at least there was last week on the part of Vrabel, because and you remember this from back in the day with Bill would do this with Gronk, and he would put him on the practice field, and we would all get we would all lose our minds and say, "Oh, Gronk is coming back, Gronk is coming back," and it would force the opponent to spend time game planning for the possibility of him playing. I think there was some of that in play last week when it came to the Patriots and the Steelers and the possibility of Christian Gonzalez playing. So again, that's the biggest overarching defensive story for this team right now is the availability of Christian Gonzalez and whether or not he's going to be in the lineup this week against the Panthers, at least as we sit here right now on Monday morning.
I mean, they dominated time of possession, over 33 minutes and 20 seconds, 6 for 13 on third down, which is fine. Pitt was 4 of 9. They outgained them total net yards, 369 to 203. I mean, it just sucks that you just pissed it away. It really did. Yeah. It's so damn frustrating because it's just on a couple of running back fumbles, especially after the defense had come up with some great plays to put the offense in wonderful position and back-to-back plays. They fumble. Stevenson fumbles at the goal line, correct? And then Pittsburgh gets the ball back. They go 3 and out. The offense gets the ball back again. Gibson fumbles. I mean, it's just vomit-inducing.
Yeah, the thing is, Pete, it was a winnable game. It was a winnable game for this team, and for a team that is in, again, a very delicate stage of their development. You need to figure out ways to be taken seriously as a football team. To be not among the elite, but again, even in the conversation of teams that aren't just a speed bump for other great teams out there. You need to find a way to win games like that. And the week before against the Dolphins, they found a way to win a game where they didn't play well, and they came up big in the big moments. On Sunday against the Steelers, every time there was a big moment, even you look at the numbers across the board, it didn't look like this, but every time there was a big moment, the Steelers and Aaron Rodgers rose to the occasion, and the Patriots didn't.
But the difference in the Miami game is they scored on 6 of their 8 drives.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, in the Miami game, they had a much better start than they did on Sunday. They weren't ready to play on Sunday against the Steelers. Steelers took a 14-0 lead, and the Patriots spent all afternoon kind of trying to climb out of that hole, and it never really worked. Against Miami, they were ready to play. They came out firing on all cylinders right out of the gate, offense, defense, whatever the case may be. So you got to find a way to play 60 minutes. And again, I'll go back to they turned the ball over 5 times, and if even with the 5 turnovers, like you said, I was sitting there pounding my head. I'm like, even with 5 turnovers, this is a 1-score game with 2 minutes to go, and they have the football. They have a chance to win this thing, and so that's the most maddening thing. If you want to be taken seriously, you need to find a way in moments like that. And yesterday, they just did.
All right, finally, Chris, and then this week coming up, Carolina Panthers. They destroyed the Falcons 30-0. I believe they scored on their first 4 possessions. Michael Penix Jr. looked like dog poop, and Bryce Young was okay. 16-24, very efficient, 121 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. But that's one of the most surprising scores of the day. Is the Panthers blanked the Atlanta Falcons 30-0, but. Patriots can't take anybody lightly because they're not in position to take anybody lightly. So I'm expecting the Panthers are going to come into Foxborough very high, and they should be after a shutout loss. And the Patriots cannot come out lethargic in this game. But anyway, your overall thoughts. Were you surprised at the Panthers and how they won so easily?
Oh, yeah. I think everyone's surprised at the Panthers and how they won, especially, Michael Penix having the good start, not the great start, but the good start that he's had. Look, this is a New England team that I echo your opinion there, man. They can't afford to take anyone lightly. They're in the stage of their development where wins are important. Wins are absolutely vital. Wins are always vital, but you're trying to build a culture here. You're trying to build something, and that comes through victories. That comes through coming through in the clutch. That comes in big weeks like this one. And they need to be able to put together a victory, find a way this week. I'm curious as to see how they're going to do when there's a little bit of adversity. When we get in the locker room today, how are they going to respond? What's the vibe? What's the mood around Gillette Stadium this week, coming off a loss like that? Because there has to be a sense of urgency from this team, again, if they want to be taken seriously, coming into this game against Carolina, a Carolina team that if you don't take them seriously, what we saw yesterday, you're gonna come out on the losing end.
All right, Vrabel's going to speak around 11:30 this morning. I'll be watching online. Then you get locker room access, I believe, at 11:45. But if you get to ask the first question, what is your first question to Coach Vrabel today?
Well, first of all, I don't get to ask the first question. Karen Garigian from Mass Law.
Of course, Karen does.
Always gets that honor. So, Karen, it depends on what Karen asks. But look, I'm going to be asking about Christian Gonzalez. I'm curious about Terrell Williams. And I'm curious about Ramondre Stevenson and the running game. I wrote that today for the Boston Globe, BostonGlobe.com. It's like, what's the mood? What are things going to look like in the running back room moving forward? Are they going to go back to Ramondre? Is Trevion Henderson going to get more snaps? How does Antonio Gibson fit into the mix? Mm-hmm. There's a potential for a lot of moving parts there.
Christopher, thank you so much. All the best. Safe travels to Foxborough. How's the traffic this day? You got to go down 128. That sucks.
Yeah, it's not. I'll be honest, it's not great. But hey, you know what, man? It beats working for a living.
Yeah, that's right. All right, say hi to Karen for me. I haven't talked to her in a while. I should have her on the show too. I love her to death. She's terrific, and all you guys do such a great job. So
she's the best.
She is. All right. All the best, Chris, and we'll talk in a couple weeks down the line. I don't like to tie you, I know how busy you get, but always enjoy our conversations. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it, buddy. Take care, and we'll talk soon.
All right, there he goes, just like that. Christopher Rice, one of the great beat writers covering the Patriots for the Boston Globe, joining us. So Ramondre Stevenson, by the way, was charted on the field just 2 snaps after a second lost fumble. As Mike Vrabel said, and just heard, says the Patriots need him going forward. I don't know. I understand when he says that, but at what cost? At what cost, Angel Martinez? At what cost?
Don't know. That's a good question, but who knows?
All right, my man. What's coming up today on the network?
Later on today will be Lloyd Vance's Insider Football. That'll be at 8 p.m. tonight, 8 to 9:15 p.m. And as always, you guys can catch replays. Visit the website, as we always do appreciate it, whether it be in SR1029thegame.com or coastalsportsdigitnetwork.com. And just check out and see what's always posted up there.
All right. I want to thank Christopher Price from the Boston Globe, Jay Flannery from Bees World, of course, Angel Martinez for chiming in and producing this whole thing. Great stuff. We'll have more funny videos tomorrow, or some video. We'll have a lot of videos because that's what we do on this show. It's that's the way the business is going, and I try to get the most videos out there that is entertaining, no matter what they are, sports or entertainment otherwise, and that's what we do. That's why the show has been very, very successful thus far. Anyway, I'm back tomorrow at 7 a.m. I think Hector Longo will be one guest and a couple of others as well here. So back at it tomorrow at 7 a.m. on the Pete Sheppard Show here on the Coastal Sports Digital Network. See ya, everybody.